do look short. I do. Hey, Tasha.
Going on. Hi, dear. How are you?
I mean, well, I'm laughing because you're right. I look a little truncated. I look a little short out here in these streets today.
This is live as live gonna get, right?
This is live as gonna get. It really is.
Let's go.
It's been a day. It's been a day. So I am Sharon. For those who don't know, I'm Sharon.
And I'm Tasha.
And we are the Accountability Queens.
Yeah.
And I'm in North Carolina, and
I'm in Florida.
You are in Florida, Tasha. Tasha,
Yeah.
You're in Florida. And we have been accountability partners for 10 years now. And what we do is we help and we coach women to become, achieve all the things that they're trying to be. We love being the wind beneath women's wings. Hey, call it, shout out to the wind.
The wind. We were listening to one of our mentors today, Tony Robbins, and a group of speakers, and they talked about do what you're passionate about. And I'm passionate about accountability and about women. I never thought I'd be passionate about women and seeing women achieve, just because, I was like never that chick. I was like, I ain't got no girlfriends, but I'm passionate about women. I've grown, and I realized that we are powerful beyond measure. And
absolutely. And then also just because we help so many other people out that we don't often have help for ourselves. So, our place is always like a safe space for women to have all the support they need. But let's get into this chat tonight. I'm just making sure all my phones are off because, like I said, it's been a day. Let's get into
the comments up. So if you're with us tonight, go ahead and drop a hello in the comments. We had such fun last week with our conversation.
We did.
And we were so engaged on the comments, and it really makes it a more fun evening. So if you're in, drop us a note, and we'll shout you out.
And tonight is our Wednesday night special, as Tasha aptly named it. It's our Wednesday night special because tomorrow evening, my Aunt Mildred turns 90 years old, and I got to be at a 90-year-old Zoom. Hi, Gail.
That's right. Happy birthday, Aunt Mill.
Good Aunt Mill is turning 90. Yes.
Bless the Lord.
Amen. All right. So let's get into this chat, right? When is it time to walk away? Ooh, right?
So many things, flood to the front of my mind.
Yeah.
Mostly about relationships, right?
But it could be about anything.
But it could be about anything.
Right.
What comes top of mind for you?
I think relationships come to top of mind, but I do sort of, maybe because that has maybe the most emotional reaction, right? Yes. But listen, there's certainly been career, and jobs that I probably stayed too long.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know one job, I stayed 5 years too long.
Ooh.
I did. And I stayed because I was mentoring kids, and I love mentoring, right? That's a big part of who I am. And I stayed because I was mentoring kids, and I love that aspect of my job. I couldn't stand anything else. And so I stayed too long, though.
Yeah. And how did you eventually get out? What sort of clicked in you to say, you know what, it's time to walk away?
Oh, man, it got so incredibly uncomfortable and just ruthless. Like, I think that if you don't move, God makes it just so uncomfortable where you have no choice, right? And so, I had no choice.
Yeah. Did you have God whispers before the uncomfortable situation?
And we talk about that, right? The whispers before the scream. God whispers before he gives you screams.
Yeah.
I'm certain. Yes, there were all kinds of whispers. And then there were like thumps on the head. And then there were, taps in the back. And no, I didn't. I was like, oh, but I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, but I get to work at 10 o'clock. These are things that are important to me.
See, me, on the other hand, I think I promised myself when I first started working, 16, that I would not go into a job that I didn't like, and I wouldn't stay at a job where I wasn't happy, right?
Yeah, you're very good about that.
my first job, I didn't want to work where everybody else was working, right?
Yeah.
Just me.
Right.
But I was at this one job, I remember, and I left at Christmas for Christmas break. And I was like, I'm not coming back. And they're like, oh, did you get another job? What are you doing? Where are you going? I said, I'm not sure. This place right here is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm positive that this is not what God has for me. So I'm going to go, and me and God are going to work it out. And I had a job in January. And so, that's been my faith walk. And I've been blessed in that arena that I haven't had to work a job and stay at a job where I wasn't happy. I knew when it was time to walk away, and I went ahead and threw up.
But let's talk about people who are entrepreneurs, right? I mean, so we encourage women, and we are accountability coaches, and there are women and we know some amazing women doing some amazing things. And sometimes you're going to get, and as any effort, anything worth having, you're going to have to work for it, right? And so when you're working for it, you hit that roadblock. You can't just walk away. So when do you think, what's that determining factor when you continue to move forward, and when you just say, this isn't the right
thing? So I may have a situation like that.
Oh, you do? Right.
Right. The first thing that comes to mind for me is when the why is not strong enough, then other things are going to be able to trump it, right? So that's when it's time to walk away. When my why.
So what does that mean when the why is not strong enough, other things don't trump it?
So I'm an entrepreneur. Why was I doing it? I was doing it because I enjoyed the hunt. I enjoyed the pounding the pavement in DC. I enjoyed talking to people. I enjoyed going out to dinner and, the hustle and the trying, I enjoyed the liveliness of it. But why was I really doing it?
Yeah.
I don't think at that time, from an entrepreneur standpoint, I had a why that I was doing it. It was what I enjoyed. It was fun. I was good at it. I made plenty of money, right? But when I had my daughter, I had a different why, right? And my why was it was stronger with wanting to be available for her than pounding the pavement, right? And I couldn't do both. And so as an entrepreneur, my why wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
And my why was stronger on this side for motherhood. And I needed to be there for her. And so it was time for me to walk away from that business. And so I did. Yeah.
All right.
It was a difficult decision. I will say this because I did love it.
Yeah.
And so it's important to have those people in your life that talk you through it, coach you through it, and allow you to make that decision, right? So not force you into it. And so kudos to my husband, because he did allow me to make that decision, because if he had said, we can't do this, you have to do this, well, I would have resented him for it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So. Gail says you leave a business with need, what?
With need more hits you and you're back. Yeah, I don't know what that riddle is, Gail.
Oh, when you leave a business when you're, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, Gail.
Try again, Gail.
Gail, you gotta put your glasses on. All right, so so there is something that
glasses on. Sorry, go ahead.
But there's something that Oprah said, I heard her say many, many years ago. And it's something that stuck with me. And it's like, if you can see the tip of the iceberg, and you probably hear me say this, I don't need to hit it to know it's there, right? So at the moment I see, this looks a little funky. Yeah, how much more? And to your point, right? If the why isn't strong enough to get through the funkiness, but I'm a big believer, like if you can see the tip of the iceberg, man, I don't need to hit it to know it's there. I'm going this direction. I don't know that means I'm giving up. I'm just seeking a different option. I'm seeking a different route. I'm going a different place. It's not maybe in this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what do you think, is needed in your life from a support standpoint to make sure that you're not continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, but that you are still pursuing what it is that you want, whether that is a particular relationship, right? You stay in this relationship because your why is strong in that relationship, or you continue to pursue this dream or this business. How do people support you?
Well, so I am blessed to have an amazing village, not the least of which is my accountability partner, who is always, the voice of reason and talks things out. Right. And we talk things out. And there are things that I may forget that I'm like, I may be emotional in the moment. Right. Yeah. I'm like, right. And I recently had that scenario where I was ready, where I was ready to go. I was ready. I was out. I was gone. Right.
And I'm like, don't forget.
Right. I was big mad. Right. I was big mad. But but then I had to, when I could calm down and I can come out of my feeling of like, I've got a really, good situation, right? If I take my emotions out of it, and going back to our conversation last week, is it better? Is it easier to fix me or change you? I just changed my expectations about the environment, and then I can move, with a lot more ease, a lot more grace, and I can let this stuff roll off my back a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? When are you knowing, and what tells you when it's time to walk away?
So I think it's gut, right? And I think a woman's intuition is often correct, and oftentimes we don't listen to it. But I can think about a relationship, and it was time for me to just let it go, because I was pouring in and there was nothing that was coming back out, right? Yeah. So that was that, I'm here and I'm doing this and this, and I'm expecting a different result and nothing is happening. So it was really crazy. And I recall you saying, we both had these moments with each other, like, how long are you gonna stay there, right? Like, are you gonna keep being that chick? And so for me, that was really kind of, from an accountability standpoint, just holding up the mirror to say, Tasha, look at yourself. What are you doing right now? Right? Yes. And I was like, gosh, you're right. Really? Even after that moment, it still was a decision that I had to make.
Yes.
And it took me a little while, but that was definitely helpful. Right. Yeah. So having that village, I've also been, in a situation that wasn't the best for me. And I've had people hold the mirrors, and I was like, listen, the logical part of myself understands what you're saying, and I'm here with you. Just pray for me. My girlfriends prayed me up out of that situation.
Wait a minute, you later took that very same thing from me. You took that same advice that you told your friends, and you said it to me. You're not going to leave until you're ready to leave. So just determine how long you feel like staying here. I was like,
yeah. That's it, because ultimately it is your decision, right?
It is. And the reality is, listen, sometimes we're facing some real hard facts that we can rationalize ourselves into anything. We can make ourselves feel like, we know a woman who, talking about a relationship, who by all accounts seems to be in a very unhealthy relationship, where she has cut off relationships with her family, her friends. I mean, she seems to be taking on the lion's share of, hey, Wendy, there's sometimes a lag between your heart and your head. Honey, sometimes it's the River Jordan, right? And you need a parting.
Right.
The Red Sea, the Red Sea. I'm getting my Bible rivers messed up. The Red Sea between the two.
The river and a sea. Got it. The bodies of water. Let's go back to the story, please.
So the story I was saying was, right, we know a woman who has really just completely disconnected from everyone who has loved her over her entire life.
Yeah.
Right. And it's probably, from the outside looking in, time to walk away. It was probably time to walk away 2 years ago. But she holding on.
Yeah.
But at least seemingly from the outside losing in, she's lost so much of herself.
And when we talk about it, it's just pray for her. That's it. That's all you can do, because it is a decision that she has to make.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to say, but I don't know about you, but when I see that scares me.
Yeah.
That scares me into, don't ever be that chick.
It makes me think a lot about Lifetime movies,
Listen, Danae and I,
Lifetime movie.
Danae and I would always say, look, I don't want to be that chick on Oprah and Oprah saying to you, but that didn't make sense. Like you thought that made sense. So you thought after seeing this, and this, and this, like you don't want to be the dumb woman on Oprah. I'm dating myself slightly here, but
wouldn't happen over here, right? Because there's no judgment because we've all been there. We've all been there in that you thought that made sense, right?
Right.
Yeah, we've all been there. And so, you know, I think the advice would be is to surround yourself with people like your village and, you know, an accountability partner, somebody that is not the emotional part of it, right? So like Wendy said, there's a lag between your heart and your head. You need somebody that's always going to be the head, right? That's always going to think logically about it because you are going to be emotional, regardless of the situation. Yeah.
I also think that you've got to have people who you trust, who genuinely like, listen, because we can have a village, but that don't mean you got a good village, right? So let's just have some people who have maybe a life. They are people you respect that you don't mind modeling, right? They have aspects of, not that you want to be that person, but they have aspects that you would benefit from modeling, right? So they have to be respectable, have some good sense, living a life that you would honor and respect, you know, so they can give you advice. Because everybody got something to say, but who you're listening to and who's in that village. And if that person truly trusts you. You truly trust, I should say.
And, you know, you have to participate in the relationship. It's great to have these people around you, but if you don't talk to them or share with them, you've at least got to have one person who you feel like you can be vulnerable with, right? Who you trust, like you said.
Right.
And that person can oftentimes hold up that mirror for you, you know? When, you know, the question, when is it time to walk away? When somebody else asks you that question, right? Or when you start to question yourself.
And so when someone else does, yes, but like, I can sit there and ask myself that all the time. So I'm not always the best barometer because I'm always trying to run.
That's true.
I'm always trying to be like, this is uncomfortable. It's time for me to run. Time for me to go.
Yeah. But that's, you know, growth that you have to do, right?
Yes.
It's not time to walk away when it's uncomfortable, because not all the time, right? Because growing is uncomfortable.
Yeah. So I've learned.
Knows it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. But again, having that good village, having being clear and being able to disconnect between the mental, the head, and the heart. And to Wendy's point, they can be miles apart. But I remember someone said to me many years ago, again, there's some things I heard that just stay with me. They said the reason why the divorce rate is so high in America and not in, say, other parts of the world is because Americans marry for love first, but it doesn't necessarily make sense, or logic second, right? It's love and then logic. Whereas other parts of the world, they marry for logic and then love. Like it's got to make sense first. It's got to make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, the rest of it's really not going to work out.
Well, does that mean I'm going to be married for a long time?
If it makes sense to you, yes, you will.
Made sense to us.
There you go. Then it will. Then it'll last a long time. But I thought that was because to Wendy's point, the head and the heart kind of have to be. You got to understand, I think, the roles that they both play, for sure. Yeah. So, do we have any other comments in here tonight before we wrap up? This has been a great talk. This is something that Tasha and I are often, taking a temperature check on. When is it time to walk out? Walk away. I said walk out. That sounds so, that's not what I meant, but just to walk away, right? Again, favorite quotes, when you can see the tip of the iceberg, you don't need to hit it to know it's there.
Yeah. But listen, with accountability, when you do walk away, there's somebody that's holding your hand, right? You have somebody at least to walk to. You don't have to feel like you're by yourself. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I absolutely. I'm never alone. That's so wonderful
Even
feeling.
when you want to be.
I'm really never alone.
She tries to get away from me, Gail, and I'm like, don't make me call your mama.
What are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? I don't know what you're doing. All right. Well, Tasha, it has, as always, been a pleasure.
Yes.
If you want to know more about the Accountability Queens, listen, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're always on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can find us at info@accountabilityqueens.com. Go to our website, accountabilityqueens.com. We will have a cool event coming up soon that we'll talk more about. I feel like we keep saying it, but it is coming soon, right, Tasha?
Coming soon.
Because Tasha's coming home soon.
Hi, Daniela.
Oh, is Daniela on? Oh, Daniela.
That's Dennis's Danny.
Oh, that's not the Danny I thinking. Oh, okay. Well, hi, Daniela. How are you? I was thinking it was the other, Daniela in South America. So, ladies, everyone who joined us tonight, Gail, Wendy, Daniela, all the other folks who are watching, thank you for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon. See you next week.
Well, not next week, because next week's a special week for me.
That's right. Next week, Tasha will be in the Bahamas, so we will not be.
She will not be my birthday. That's why we're taking a break.
Yes. We're taking a break for 1 week, but we'll be back. All right, everybody. Good night. Good night, Wendy. Bye-bye.